Hello, everybody. Didn't realize we were live right there. Hello, my name is Sidney Winston, and this is Reason Speak on SecularTv, on YouTube, on SecularTv. I really haven't. This is the second show of 2016, and I'd like to welcome you, but I haven't really prepared much. I've been spending the last, couple of weeks with my new hobby. I have a new hobby. I discovered a website, WordPress websites, basically. And I've owned a domain name for ever, like SydneyWinston.ca. I've owned that for a long time, but I've never done anything with it because my instinct is to not approach any challenge if I think I'm going to be beaten or disappointed, or I'm not going to figure it out. I'd rather not go to the point where I haven't figured it out. I'd rather wait until to start. I'd procrastinate, right? Anyway, after years and years and years and years and years and years and years, the procrastination came to an end, and that was thanks to an internet friend of mine who offered to host the site, because I never really knew what it was all about. And he did, and he set it up, and I've been building my SydneyWinston.ca site ever since, and it's been fun. Just to learn the interface and how everything works, and what's a widget and what's a plugin and what's a this and that and the other. It's amazing and powerful. Oh my God, it's powerful. So what I've been doing basically is messing around with the site, changing themes, changing this, changing that. So if you do go to it, you'll find that there might not be too many posts. I'll try and post as much as possible, but I'm always playing around with it. So it might not look today the same way it looks, tomorrow. So I've sent out some invitations to anybody who'd like to come in and have anything who has anything to say. My only agenda at this point, unless somebody else pops in, is to talk about the website. And if anybody is interested in building a website, maintaining a website, and having a website presence, it's really the easiest thing in the world. The only difficulty in the world, well, it's not really difficult. The only difficulty, of course, is getting a website, is getting a domain name, choosing the right one, and paying for it, and making sure that it's always active. It doesn't expire. That's it. Otherwise, that hosting sites, you got your plugins. I never thought it was as easy as it is. I really didn't. Otherwise, I would have done this a long time ago. But that's possibly due to a lack of confidence in my part in certain things. So, hearing no objection, I am going to screen share my the website page to show you how easy it is. We'll make this a tutorial until somebody changes the subject. How's that? All right. In order to do that, I actually have to go and find where I've hidden everything. So give me one moment. All right, there it is. Right, now share, and now I actually bore you out of existence, or you enjoy yourself. I don't know. So what we have here is a page that it's difficult to read, isn't it? Oh, is it better? Not much, eh? I can't get any higher resolution. So that's essentially, anyway, this is essentially my web page. If you look on top here, where it says, there you go. So if you look on top here, where it says SydneyWinston.ca, that's how you get to it. Click it, and then you get to the front page. It's got a whole bunch of Ask an Atheist all around it. It's got the header, right? You set it up. And then it's got a sticky post here, which I leave it as the welcome, and my first sort of, message to people to say, listen, if you don't like what you see, if it's all a bit messy, just relax. I'm just figuring it all out still. And then I start posting. I just posted the Scam the Scammer one, and I posted a, I just very few of these are my actual points of view. It's just mostly passing along what I want to share. Now on the top here, or on the side, you'll notice there's the widgets. It's got the CBC News, New York Times op-ed, Mail and Guardian. It's a respected South African newspaper. If you can see what's going on there. And then I go down to the podcasts that I listen to. I listen to The Scathing Atheist, love Noah Lugeons and Heath Enright, and Lucinda Lugeons. All three of them make up a great podcast. I highly recommend them. Then there's Naked Mormonism. Oh man, Mormonism has been torn to shreds by Bryce Blankenagel. Bryce, this guy, ex-Mormon himself, grew up, but he has gone into depth and researched Mormonism, and hours and hours of listening. It's beautiful. Now, then we have Mike Duncan. Now, if you remember Mike Duncan, he was famous because, let me just underline that. Oh, come on. Mike Duncan, famous. Why? Because he produced the History of Roe. That was an excellent a series of podcasts, which I listened to from beginning to end. I'm going to listen to it again. But wow. I highly recommend Mike Duncan in both. Now, the last podcast he had was when he was to announce that he was launching the new Revolutions podcast, which is this one up here. Also excellent, love it. Highly recommend. My particular favorite is The Ancient World, and this guy here, The Ancient World podcast, I can't tell you how much I learned. There's a guy, the guy whose name who does it is, if I can remember, it is, I can't remember. It's just some very sort of Lani name. Yeah, let me see if I can find it. What's his name? Oh, come on. All right, hold on, I'll tell you. I think if you have a blah, oh, you think he hasn't set up anything? I really can't remember his name. It's a name that I shouldn't forget because it's a unique name. But for the life of me, I can't find it on here. Anyway, if you listen to any of his podcasts, he introduces himself pretty quickly. All right, so let me go back to. Actually, I've just found a. See, when I just did that, I found that there's an error. When this podcast opens, I wanted to open up in its own. See, what it does now is it opens up in a new, on the same page, but what I wanted to do is open up in a new tab, right? So the way you do that, might as well go to the lesson right away. The way you do that is a good question. So you go to, it's a widget. So let's start there. Go to widgets. All right, so now I'm going to go to the widget and I'm going to see if from that point, where do I tell it to open up in a new tab? Now, obviously, it's not here, right? So therefore, now I'm going to think, how about the actual blog? How about the actual post itself? No, it's not a post. Let's go to, see, this is the way I get around this website building. You find an issue that you need to fix and then figure out how to fix it. Now this one, I obviously am missing something very because I've done it before and I just don't remember. But so what I want to do is open up the widget in a new page. Well, let's go back to editing the widgets. No, let's go back to editing. I don't know what to do here. How do you do this? Anybody got any suggestions? Anyone in the sidebar there? Anybody? Nobody? No? Oh, okay. All right, Dad. I will just forge on and do something else. I'll get back to that one. So what I want to do, let me make a note of this. What I want to do is open up a widget in a new tab. All right. So I'm going to try and solve that at some point before the end of the show. If not, I'll figure it out. There is one way to do things, and that is to go to the help. That's boring. It's too boring. I'm sorry. I'm boring myself by even doing that. So I'm just going to get back to that later on my own. Okay. Good. Just say goodbye to that. Right, everybody. If you want me to carry on figuring this out, I don't mind. I got all the time in the world, at least for another little while. Let me know, and we'll do that. Other than that, if anybody wants to come in and have a chat, please do. Hello, someone's here. Hello, Jim.
Hey, Sidney, how you doing?
I'm very well. How are you?
I'm doing quite well for the condition that I'm in.
Well, Batman is always healthy.
Absolutely.
How about Chris? How about Jim? How are you doing? What condition are you in?
I'm in the condition that I'm in, just hanging in there. Got a few more doctor's visits to go ramble through, and then I'll be good.
What do you mean you'll be? What's going on? You got health issues?
Oh, yeah. I had some kind of brain thing happening when I was driving the bus, and so almost wrecked the bus with kids on it, and so that was not fun. And then had to go get looked at for that, and then they found something else going on with my heart, and then another thing going on with my lungs. So they're going to piece me back together. I'll be good as new.
What is it? Is it due to lifestyle, or what do you think it is? Genetic?
It's just old age. You know, we're not we're not designed to live forever. So if we were, we wouldn't seek out God.
Seek out what?
God. If we were,
what's that? What is that?
If we lived forever, we wouldn't seek out God. Sidney,
what is that, Jim? I never heard of that. I never see one. I've seen goddesses, but I've never seen gods.
So what's this new thing you got? Is it called SecularTv?
No, well, the YouTube site that I'm broadcasting from is from our SecularTv YouTube site. Yes, that's the network. But what I was talking about was the website. I've discovered I have a domain name, and I've started building a website around it, on it. And I was just talking about stuff.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I kind of tinker with that myself. I've got christianhillbilly.com. I've got
exactly.
Let's see, what was the other one? mimiandpops.com. I built a few other websites for some friends of mine, amortgagesource.net, and let's see, what's another one? Oh shoot, Lisa's Construction. So yeah, I've done a few of those.
Oh, you actually have them? Are they still running?
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. amortgagesource.net's one of the big ones that I've worked on. It's a mortgage platform that allows people to apply online, see what's going on with the interest rates, get news and updates and stuff like that.
Lovely.
And of course, my Christian Hillbilly one is just basically a blog platform.
Yeah, that's what mine is too. Do you keep it up to date?
No, I don't have to. The thing about when you're doing those websites is trying to find feeds that'll actually feed into the website so you don't have to mess with it. I basically only have to mess with his website maybe 2-3 times a year at the most.
I see. Oh, Dustin's here. Have you met Dustin, Aaron?
I don't believe so. Hey,
Okay.
Dustin.
Hey, Dustin. This is Jim. Justin wrote a book, and it's called what? Truth Evolves, right?
That's correct.
Have you met Dustin, Aaron? And I've had Dustin on a couple of times on the show, interviewing him, and he's told us all about his new, well, it's not new, I guess, but his what do you call it? Theory.
I was wondering why I was getting that echo. I had the darn platform open in another window. Sorry about that.
That's okay. Just shut it down.
Sure.
Hello. What's going on? I still hear some feedback from somebody.
It takes it a minute to catch up. It should be done now.
Maybe you've got two, Dustin. Maybe you've got two broadcasts going.
Do I? Oh, you're right. You're right.
Yeah, the YouTube has a built-in, I think, 30-second delay. So in case somebody does something or says something, you got enough time to.
Well, it's not that. It's not that. It's just that if you're watching it on say the YouTube page and then you join, you've got the audio coming from.
That was my fault. I had the YouTube page open in a separate window.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, doesn't matter. It's all fixed now. I just want to introduce Jim to Dustin. Dustin has some world-changing ideas. Revolutionary ideas. Ones that are modern and not like centuries and millennia old.
They're in his? They're really close.
Dustin, I've got a question for you.
Yeah.
How Jim's having issues. He's a devout Christian. How could your outlook, or how could you help Jim with perspective?
Well, does Jim need help with perspective?
I think so, because he's a devout Christian and he's got a totally delusional perspective.
I'm sure Jim disagrees. Right, Jim? You don't agree with that, do you?
No, he won't agree with that, of course.
No, I don't agree with that at all. As a matter of fact, I think my perspective is based squarely in what we can see all around us, is based squarely and firmly on the reality that there is a God, the reality that God is evident through His creation.
Okay, okay, hold on. Fair enough. Now let's have a response.
Well, it's actually that wasn't the major topic of my book, but it's interesting he brings that up because I've begun recently work on a new book, and that is essentially the topic in question. Is the book is, for the moment, is I'm calling it The Theology of Atheism, and I'm interested in exploring this idea. One, that the perception of beauty and goodness and whatnot, why that is seen as being so such powerful evidence of the existence of a God by people who believe in God, and why many people who believe in God think that people like myself, who are atheists, must not appreciate beauty or goodness or other values at all because we don't subscribe to. And part of the reason for writing the book is to try to build a bridge between people who are religious and people who aren't, to show them that actually as human beings we all have values, these core values that undergird all of our judgments, and we find different ways of systematizing them and rationalizing them, and religion is one of those ways, but it's not the only way. But just because you don't believe in God doesn't mean you can't appreciate the awesomeness of nature and creation.
No, I would agree with that. I'd agree with that wholeheartedly, because once again, when you start looking at the awesomeness, as you call it, of nature, the awesomeness of nature points to a designer. When you look at the complexity of every single organism on this planet, when you look at the fact that there are certain laws that are in place that cannot be thwarted, such as the second law of thermodynamics. Then you've got all of these different areas of scientific endeavor that point to a loving creator God.
Actually, can I respond to one point there? You mentioned the second law of thermodynamics, and this comes up a lot. But recently, and you know, a lot of writers have spoken to this issue and you know, debunked the idea that evolution violates the second law of thermodynamics. But there was recently, I think he's an MIT, a researcher who has come up with a theory that actually it states that the emergence of life depends on entropy, on the second law of thermodynamics. And basically what his argument is that the local reversals of entropy that you see in the organization of living things are always counterbalanced by increases of entropy in the environment areas. In other words, the account books are always square in terms of entropy, but the living things might actually increase the pace at which the universe becomes disordered. So in other words, statistically speaking, you're going to have local reversals of entropy.
Statistically speaking, I hear what you're saying, but statistically, that's impossible. Entropy goes in one direction. When you're talking about
it's probability. It's a probability. It's the same if you had two substances that dissolve in one another.
Whoa, one at a time, please.
I'm sorry, but I mean, you're saying all this in probability, Dustin. Dustin, there's probability that there's pink unicorns on the dark side of the moon. That don't mean there is one.
No. Definable probabilities. Like if you have say a basin or pool filled one half with ink and one half with water with a partition in the middle, and you remove that partition, over time, what's going to happen is you're going to have a very a mixture of ink and water throughout the entire pool. It's highly improbable that those two would sort themselves out again without that partition being present, sort themselves back out again into one half being ink and one half being water. That's what I mean by probability. But it's not completely outside the realm of possibility that once you have a kind of pure solution of these two, that there might come to be certain areas where there are more ink in molecules than water molecules. And that's what I mean by local reversals of entropy. That's probabilistically speaking, that's inevitably bound to occur. In some
well, yeah, on a small level like that, yeah, I would concede that.
On the grand scale,
what we're talking about having to happen here, Dustin, is not just that partition being separated between the water and the ink and then becoming a little bit joined, but you're talking about that water and the ink coming together, and then when something happens and it dries, all of a sudden you've got an encyclopedia with all the different information of an encyclopedia. You don't ever see that.
Do you understand what chemistry is there, Jim?
Absolutely I do, sir.
But do you understand what the implications are of chemistry?
Well, yes, sir, I do.
Then why are you? Where do you get your idea of intelligence behind it all? How can it possibly be? How can it possibly be?
Sid, so you can use chemistry, and you can use electronics, and you can use all kinds of tools to demonstrate very interesting things. Like this computer demonstrates a very interesting basic form of energy. We've got electricity going back and forth, but that electricity is being sorted out into ones and zeros in the binary code, so we can communicate the way that we do right now. Now, are you going to tell me that all of a sudden, by random chance and happenstance, the binary code came about? No,
I am not. I have no idea what you're talking about. And I don't think you do either.
Even my 4-year-old knows the process is not random. Selection
is designed. If it's not random, it's designed by its very nature.
No, it's not true. Look,
I agree. It's not true.
It doesn't have to be designed for. Look, if it is the case, for example, that a bunch of competing businesses have arrived at a very similar way of building the same product that they all sell, on the one hand, it could be the case they all got together and decided to design their product exactly the same, or it could be that certain constraints in terms of the problems that the people need the product to solve, the price of the inputs, the price of labor, and other things like that. It could be that certain constraints on their operations just made this the most efficient way of going about it, and so you'd have agreement in terms of the basic structure of the product without anyone consciously getting together and designing it.
Your presupposition is intelligent design to start with. So again, you're starting from a point where there's already a designer, and now you're starting that designer had issues with the design. Wait a minute, let's go back. Let's go back to where did the information come from?
You can't draw the inference from artificial selection to natural selection, but when you have plenty of time and you have a mechanism for selection, then you can blind process can be
select from. Wait a minute. You're talking about selection. Selection is a conscious choice. Selection is a conscious choice. And that's number one. Number two, what does it have to select from? There's nothing for it to select from.
Sure there is.
Where did the information come from for it to select from?
The information is in the genes.
Okay, where did the information come from to be in the genes?
Well, I imagine the very first organisms that made crude copies of themselves were just strings of protein.
Where did that information come from? You have to go back and deal with the information. You have to go back and deal with where did the information come from? Why is there information?
Interpret it as
where did it come from?
That's how we make sense of it. But remember, from view from nowhere doesn't consider us to be bundles of information. We just are what we are. When we look at life and the evolution,
actually, we are bundles of information.
Information and selection, because that's how we make.
There's information in your little finger. There's information in every cell of your body. So yes, we are bundles of information. We have genetic code in every single cell of our body that tells your body what to do. And if that cell and if that information doesn't work exactly the way it's supposed to, the way it's designed to work, then next thing you know, you got fingernails on your eyelids and you got a real problem.
Now you're talking nonsense. Now you're just talking nonsense. No, maybe just being a... Is this your stand-up comedy act, your 3-minute stand-up comedy act that you're trying to perfect?
No, not at all, Sidney. I don't have a comedy act.
Well, it certainly sounds like it because it's really funny.
Well, I mean, basically what the objection here is that you can't make the inference from the fact that artificial selection occurs to the fact that natural selection can occur. And we know that if you have a diverse population, you have a set of environmental constraints that some of the information embodied in the genes, the physical traits of organisms will survive, be retained from one generation to the next, and that you have shifting over time of the nature of the information that's embodied in those organisms.
Yes, and you know what? That is exactly my point. You've got the information given by God already in the organism. That organism has stresses put upon it. Hang on a second. And that organism has stresses put upon it. And now the organism adapts to the environment. How does it do that? Because the information is already there for it to adapt to that environment. Because without that information, the organism dies.
But Jim, the vast majority of organisms have died. The vast majority of species have gone extinct. There's no guarantee that the circumstances to which any given organism is adapted are going to prevail indefinitely, and most of them don't. So
exactly.
The idea, if God is
98% of all the things that God created have gone extinct. I'll give you that. But the point is, for the 2 to 3% that are still left, you've got that information in the genetic code. You've got the DNA communication. And whenever you have that information that is communicated from point A to point B using a particular media and an agreed-upon language, you always have an intelligent designer.
Well, I don't think the designer is all that intelligent if their failure rate is 99.99999%.
Oh, no. Heck, if you look at what God says in His Word in Genesis...
No, you can't go to God. There's no God.
Absolutely, I can.
You can't.
Have you ever read the Bible, Dustin? Dustin, have you ever read the Bible?
Yes, I've read it cover to cover, actually.
Okay, good. Well, so then you know what it says in Genesis, that when man sinned, God cursed not only man, but everything on this planet. And so, yes, we would expect to see death and disease and disaster and deformity and cancers, all from that event when God cursed man and all of his creation.
Well, again, the geological record, the paleontological record we have, don't support the account in Genesis. So using Genesis,
actually, you can't really go to that, because when you go to something that's a fossil, all you know is something was alive and now it's dead. You don't know that it procreated. You don't know what color it was. You don't know what sex it was. You don't know any of those things. You're making inference based on what you want to believe. So let's look at what we see here and now. Let's use observational science here and now, shall we?
But to some extent, we always draw the inference that is most reconcilable,
most convenient for the atheist. Again, let's use observational science, things that we can test in the scientific laboratory right here and now, things that we can see, that we can observe, that we can repeat. That's observational science. Archaeology is guessing about the past. Paleontology, guessing about the past.
That's a false distinction. I'm sorry. You're basically parroting Ken Ham, and I would recommend everyone go back and watch the debate between Ken Ham and Sidney at the Creation Museum.
Those scientists.
I have to insist, gentlemen, I have to insist that only one of you talk at a time. And right now, Dustin, you got interrupted, so please complete. Carry on. Don't interrupt him, please, Jim.
There is no tenable distinction between observational science and historical science. All science is based on observation and inference. Basically what Jim is saying here is that from what we know now of the physics of light, for example, we are not allowed to infer that, for example, the Andromeda galaxy has been around for at least 2 million years, since the light from Andromeda galaxy takes 2 million years to get here. What he would say is that, well, it was made to look that way when the universe was created 6,000 and some odd years ago. We're drawing a normal inference based on mathematical facts that are observable right now to infer past events that must have been the case based on the facts as we observe them now. There's no logical, no rational grounds for distinguishing between what he calls observational science and historical science. It's all science or it's not.
Jim, anything? Your floor is yours now. I think you bored him to sleep or something. I don't know.
Yeah, unfortunately, I can do that.
Or maybe he's just figured that there's nothing you can say to defend against what you said.
Well, it's like, I recommend, again, anybody who's interested to go back and rewatch that debate between Ken Ham and Bill Nye at the Creation Science Museum in Kentucky. I think it was in 2014. And I remember, criticizing Ken Ham after that, talking about, if what he's saying is true, then we are allowed essentially to define terms that have predicates such that, object X could have certain qualities, 1, 2, and 3 for the next 5,000 years, but there's no way I can prove to you that they won't have qualities 4, 5, and 6 5,000 years from now, right? I'm just allowed to invent these variable predicates and attach them to words, because that's essentially what they've done going backwards. They said, starlight travels at 300,000 kilometers per second, except when it doesn't, except when it's made to look as if it had by God, and it in fact traveled at an infinite amount of speed over, some period of time 6,000 years ago.
I know that kind of stuff. It bewilders me that people, are sick enough to actually buy that. It's got nothing to do with. It's got nothing to do with intelligence. It's got to be something that's wrong.
I think if you watch the debate afterwards, they asked some creationists to pose questions to people who accept the fact of evolution, and some of them I thought were really interesting because they touched on this point that we mentioned earlier. One, for example, was how can you look at a sunset and not believe that God made that, right? Another was like, how can you look at the world and not see how amazing it is that it must have been? It's like
that's ridiculous. I know that's childish. It's childish.
I got one better than that. I got one better than that. Because how can you look at
it's a way of drawing an inference from emotion. I would call it the I don't know what the Latin word is, but argumentum ad whatever the Latin for emotion is, but it's clearly like an appeal to a romantic sensibility that's excited by aesthetically pleasing aspects of the world. Now, there's a reason why we find things aesthetically pleasing, and I find it very interesting to plumb the development of our species and our brains to figure out why it is we find things beautiful. But you don't need to inject anything supernatural in there to explain it, or at least it doesn't help. The moment you do, it pretty much, well, oh, God did it or whatever. But then you're pretty much, that's it. That's the end of your inquiry, right there. Right?
I got one better. How can you look at that little child on your lap and not see design? How can you look at that little baby and not see that there is a creator, that baby was designed by the template that God gave you, and now you have given that child? You see, we are contingent beings. Hang on a second. We are contingent beings. And that baby was contingent upon you and his mother. And you were contingent upon your parents, and they upon their parents, all the way back to the very first two parents who ever were, Adam and Eve. And Adam and Eve were contingent upon the only non-contingent being that ever has been or ever will be, and that's the God of creation, the God of salvation, the God of the Bible. So when you look at that standpoint, that not only do you have the information being conveyed from your genes to your child's genes, through yours and your wife's genes, and that information is always going downhill. You've got genetic entropy.
Are you a scientist, Jim?
Look that up.
Are you a scientist?
I suggest you look that up. Hang on a second.
Are you a scientist?
I am at that. I suggest you look that up. Again, genetic entropy. When you look that up, you'll find that entropy affects every area of our life.
Is undoubtedly true, and everything you know has to be reconciled with that. Then that means you're definitely not a scientist.
Actually,
you hemmed yourself.
The Bible has no problem with me being able to look at the world and understand how it works. That's what science is.
That's actually a big part of the thesis of my book is that you shouldn't hem yourself into a dogmatic way of looking at the world.
Exactly.
You should be epistemically open. But if you're
atheist, because atheism is a religion.
But Jim,
why do you keep on interrupting? Let him finish.
Everything that you believe has to be reconcilable with that, then you are hemming yourself in. You're limiting yourself from the beginning.
I'm the one saying you're the one that's trying to hem yourself in. Because I'm not trying to reconcile everything with what I see in Scripture. I'm saying it already does. I don't have to do a darn thing.
Okay, let's say hello. Calm down. Hello, Earl. Welcome to...
What's up, E.E.?
What it do, motherfuckers?
Hey, love that fro, bro.
Oh, watch your language around the
I did not get it by now.
I miss the days of my fro, bro.
But now you have an aura, Jim, so it just replaces the fro.
Nope, Pixar, it didn't happen.
Photoshop will happen.
Photoshop. Hold still, Earl.
You're gonna cut mine off.
It'll just fall out on its own in a couple of years.
Yes.
Yeah, really.
Take mine and Jim's advice about that.
Hey, mine is by choice. I cut mine like this every week. I used to have long hair.
If you're interested, I'll
how much of a detriment it can be.
Are you a musician, Jim?
I'm a singer, but I ain't no musician.
Oh, sing us a tune.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me.
Come on, get up.
I once was lost, but now I am found. Was blind, but now I see. My chains are gone, I've been set free. My God, my Savior, has ransomed me. And like a flood, His mercy reigns. Unending love, amazing grace. Amen.
Excellent. Nice, Jim.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much.
That was
I'm here till Thursday.
That's the widest version of Amazing Grace ever.
Wasn't it?
Well done. Hey, man, I'm a reverse Oreo. I'm black on the inside.
No, you ain't either. That had no soul.
Okay, Earl.
So,
Let's hear it with soul.
what is?
Wait. I thought Earl
You're up.
chimed in to talk about something
You're
other
up.
than
Amazing Grace by Earl.
I don't know. There was some like good chat going on, and then apparently the black guy interrupted. You know, sorry, but I didn't mean to derail everything.
No, I need you here. I need you here because Jim was talking about this intelligent design thing. That
Well, Earl, let me ask you, what do you believe?
Not much. I have
Do you believe in God?
I have a sufficient amount of evidence in things that lead me to believe they are true.
So, do you believe in God?
Nope, no evidence for it I can see.
So, when you look in the mirror, you don't see any evidence for a creator, a designer, any information, anything like that?
I guess I could say yes, but what if I followed that up with, but they are the gods of Africa?
Well, we can get to that later, but the first thing you got to get past is that hurt about being God.
Your question was if I believe in a god. I can name any of 3,000 and say yes.
No, hang on a second. You got to believe in a God first before you believe in a false God.
Okay.
Hold on a second. They're all false.
I don't think that follows.
Yeah, I'd say a good punchline to follow that, I'd say, but...
Actually, you know, when I told you earlier that I'd read the Bible cover to cover, and one of the things that I really gleaned from it was that, you know, I'm a pretty well-read individual, and honestly wasn't all that impressed with it. And I kind of felt that whatever good lessons there are to be derived from the Bible, it's not like you can't derive them from other religious or secular texts. So I just don't understand why, even if I bought into the idea that something about the order or design of the universe implies a supernatural reality, why I should throw my lot in with one particular religion that got started on one planet in one tiny corner of the universe, when there are all these other ways of interpreting that same feeling, that same conviction, right, about there being some deep order to nature. You know, I don't know why the one doesn't follow from the other. You can't infer any farther than say, you know, pure straight up deism from your argument about design. You can't go any farther than that. You certainly can't infer anything about Christianity from that.
Actually, you can, but let me ask you a question
It's
first.
really about preference. It's about
Dustin, can feelings be wrong?
Sure they can.
Then your premise is off the table.
Well,
Let's go ahead and talk about what's truth. Is there more than one truth?
You're basing your entire theory on
Is there, Dustin, more than one truth?
What does that mean?
Is it possible
Exactly.
that there
What the hell
is
does
a
that
God and that there is not a God?
God is impossible. Don't you understand, Jim? God is non.
Okay, let me put it to you differently, Dustin. Is it possible that both Sidney and I are right? I'm saying that there is a God, a creator, a designer, one who saved us by his son. And Sidney's saying there's no way, no how that there's no God. Can both of us be right?
I think if one of you is speaking metaphorically and the other one is speaking literally, then you could both be right.
No, we're both speaking exactly the same language. There's no difference in our language.
I don't even know whether you know yourself, whether you're being literal or metaphorical.
I am telling you right now, both of us are speaking the exact same language. Can we both be correct?
No.
Hi to
He's
a
got
couple
his
of new
hands
people.
full.
We got Darius. Hey, Darius.
What's up?
Can both of us be correct?
And then, hold on a second, and then Isaiah's joined in again. I don't know if he's having internet issues, but hey, when you're able to say hey, say hey.
He's pointing some bright fingers at me, and I'm scared. Oh, there they go. What's up, D?
Where is he? Oh, hello.
Yeah, now we got more people to yell at one another.
I think we have to continue on the evidence, and not on the lack of evidence. The lack of evidence is the lack of evidence for an irrational concept. I mean, that's just screwy. So
I didn't ask you, Sidney. I asked Dustin. Dustin, can we both be correct? Can Sidney and I both be correct at the same time using the same language in the same way? Can we both be true? Can both of those statements be true?
It depends. If the statements you're using
No, it doesn't. Can
statement of negation, I would say probably not.
excuse me, but if you ask the
Can
man
we
a
both
question,
be true?
if you ask the man a question, let him respond without interrupting. Thank you.
No, he's not. He's not answering the question.
Yeah, let him respond, I said.
Natural language is not.
Let him finish his statement.
Yeah.
Natural language is not usually used the way we use language in, say, mathematics, where a statement and its negation can't both be true.
I'm using the same way, the same place. The law of non-contradiction. Can A be not A at the same time?
But we're not in a hermetically sealed.
Can A be not A at the same time in the same way? Can you answer that question? It's a mathematical question, Dustin. Can you answer it?
But is God a mathematical phenomenon? It's a problem of trying to transfer one kind of mode of discourse to another realm completely.
A little difficult.
I think when people talk about spirituality or the supernatural, whatever, they're essentially trying to use symbols to evoke feelings that they have, and you can't really. It's trying to compare them to mathematical symbols is kind of apples to oranges.
Okay,
because
since you didn't want to answer the question, I won't ask you anymore.
The meaning of those spiritual symbols cannot be pinned down with a level of precision that would allow you to draw any kind of consistent inferences.
Baby,
I say you can't both be wrong. Or right.
well, no,
Someone's wrong.
It works both ways. If they can't both be wrong, they can't both be right.
No, actually,
Right.
we both could be wrong. We both could be wrong, but not both of us can be right.
Both could be wrong.
They're both wrong if Scientologists are correct and an alien came and banged a monkey.
Scientologists are correct. We all need to kill ourselves.
See,
Was Newton correct or was Einstein correct? Or were they both correct in different ways?
I guess.
you see, Darius, when we're looking at this situation, when we're looking at this question, the question is, can A not A at the same time, the same way? No, cannot be. And so the problem ends up being nobody wants to acknowledge that. So there's not many truths. There is only one truth. And Jesus Christ said he is the way, the truth, and the life.
If I said that, would you believe me?
Muhammad said something kind of like that. I'm the one.
Somebody have a baby translator? I think that baby's calling him out on the BS.
Yeah, right. He's like, if you were born in Afghanistan, you'd be a Muslim.
Well, okay, Dustin, tell your kids that you're the way, the truth, and the light, and see how they respond, if they believe you.
I mean, I think, honestly, the pedigree of that idea is the only reason it's deemed respectable by folks like Jim. If that idea hadn't been around for 2,000 years, he wouldn't believe it today. But he was born into a...
Actually, I was born into an atheistic home. See, Dustin, you don't know nothing about me.
No, but the world around you is by and large religious.
That nobody believed in God. No way did no God do none of this.
So how did you get all messed up?
I went in search of what the truth is.
So how did you get so misled?
I found the creation declares the handiwork of the Creator.
How did you get so misled, Jim?
I'm not misled, Sidney. I would ask you that. Jim. What happened to you, Sidney, that the church has bummed you out so much that you won't have nothing to do with God?
I've never had an occasion to have any contact with the church, so nothing.
Let me say this. I hate that so much. If somebody says that they're not a follower of your religion, something must have happened to them that led them to the dark path.
I don't say that to all people, Darius. But Sidney basically poised that question to me. How did I get so messed up? So I just poised it right back at him. See, it's a ridiculous question. It's a ridiculous question because we all have our free will. You know what? We can all be on the same jury and come to different conclusions based on the same evidence. You know, I look at that maintenance and I automatically see a designer. I see the next generation. I see life, and life only comes from life.
All right, and let's have somebody else respond, Jim. Let's have somebody else respond.
The thing is, if you weren't an American, you would probably be a different religion saying the same things about Muhammad.
No, actually,
right?
I wouldn't.
You don't think so?
No, I know so.
That's one of the biggest religions in the world. If you were born in a different country.
Actually, I researched Islam, I researched Buddhism, I researched Wicca, I researched a number of different faiths. All of them are lacking. The only religion that has prophecy fulfilled, the only religion that makes sense of the evil that is all around us, the only religion that makes sense of our creation is the Bible.
All right, if I can interject. Thanks, man. If you were actually born anywhere else aside from where a Christian-dominated country was at, let's say you were born in India or Arabia or somewhere, you were going to be worshiping that particular dominant God because that's basically what you're going to know of. You're not going to have any knowledge of Jesus Christ or anybody else outside of pretty much where you grew up. The dominant religion in that area is probably going to be more than likely your beliefs if you're going to have any theological beliefs at all.
That's why it's dominant.
Are there no Christians in foreign countries? Are there no Christians or people of other faith in Muslim-dominated countries?
Oh yeah, there is, but it's Muslim-dominated. There are, but that's because we are in a world where information is
once they know in their heart they've been fed a lie, they seek out the truth.
Oh, okay. There's 4,000 religions out there, but yours is the only one that's right.
That's what led me to atheism through Christianity. I was being fed lies on a daily basis.
There's only 2 religions on the entire planet. There's the religion of works, which is Islam, which is Buddhism, which you can do it and make yourself better. And then there's the religion of grace, which is Christ. He did it for us, and all we have to do is repent of our sins and be baptized.
Now, maybe you can say there are 2 classes and maybe make some philosophical argument for that, but you can't say there are 2 religions classed by this and this.
Actually, there are only 2 religions.
Doesn't work that way.
Every type of religion outside of Christianity, it's all a religion of works.
Oh, so you mean there are 2 types of religion?
It's all a religion of what you can do to make yourself better. You can go up and blow yourself up in a jihad and get 76 virgins. Oh, I'm sorry, they got that wrong. It's one 76-year-old virgin. Then
you're supposed to lay down your life for your
Christian prayers and do all this stuff. No,
it's not just this.
It all works.
Okay, I have a question then for you. You, Christian. Out of all the apostasies of your religion that is committed against the human race, like the Crusades, the Salem witch trials, and all of those things.
Are you not familiar with all the martyrs that have happened in the last 100 years? There's been more
martyrs. They're murderers.
There's been more Christians martyred in the last 100 years.
How many people in the name of your God That doesn't sound like a religion of grace to me. That sounds like an abomination of fucking genocide.
It's blood. It's all blood. They want to dominate the planet.
But the problem with your mentality is you think you're right. When you're absolutely wrong.
Jim,
you need to go look at the history.
Well, genocide, Jim.
And
people killed people. Blood was shed over a freaking idea of
are there people out there that do bad things in the name of Christianity? Yes, there have been.
Okay.
But there have been more people martyred in the last 100 years than ever martyred by Christianity. More people martyred
so now it's a race, is it?
Than ever in the history of the world.
So if somebody killed more people than Christians, then it doesn't matter that Christians kill people?
I don't think anybody's killed more people than Christians.
Are
you serious? Muslims making more money, but
well, I think we can all kind of agree that Hitler was a Christian, yes?
Yes.
Yeah.
No.
Okay, point, you lose.
No.
The only person
hold on. Hitler was not the right type of Christian now. Okay?
You're right.
Now, standing for Christ is the one true Christian, as you know.
Yeah, you're only a Christian if you do things that other Christians like. When you do naughty things, you're not a Christian.
Bullcrap.
None of this cherry picking stuff, dude. Okay, if you're gonna cherry pick, then you're not a Christian at all. You better, if you're gonna be a Christian, you better accept it for the entirety of what it is.
I know Hitler
you can't
wasn't
cherry
a Christian.
pick.
He admitted he wasn't a Christian. There's actually documentation. As a matter of fact, they just released his book again, and in the footnotes you'll see where he used religion against the people that he was supposed to be governing in order to make them give up their guns, give up their rights, and then persecute the Jewish people, persecute the oh shoot, who are the other groups over there? My brain's not working. The homosexuals, the gypsies. I mean, there's so many different groups that they deemed as unsavory. He used that to basically commit genocide.
How many different groups? Jim,
he got it from the book, right?
How many different groups do the Westboro Church, Baptist Church, deem unsavory? The Christian Westboro Baptist Church.
I have no idea, Sidney. I'm not a member of the Westboro Baptist Church.
Oh, so you're a member of the Nazi Party because you know stuff about Hitler?
No, I'm a member of Eastside Christian Church.
Oh my God! You're a Nazi Christian?
I don't think your church is a real church, man. I think I'm the only true Christian. I gave Jesus a handy behind a church one time. I gave Jesus a handy behind a church one time, and he told me I'm the only true Christian.
Jesus.
How's this Christian? Do you
I'm the
think
only true Christian.
Right, you see.
I'm not going to listen to that.
Off, I did.
You want to have a discussion, we'll discuss. I'm not going to listen to that crap.
Christian, question. Do you think that Adolf Hitler would have gone to heaven if he asked for forgiveness the day he died? Oh, bye.
No, I kicked him out. He blocked. He starts to block people in my hangout. He's gone.
Oh, Kenny said a naughty word. I got blocked. I said a no. Come on, Jesus would enjoy a hand job. Let's be honest.
That is not free speech. You don't block somebody.
That was Jesus, though, right?
That is not free speech at all.
If Jesus was sitting on the cross and, I lubed my hand up, stroked him off, played with his nuts, he wouldn't say no. Let's be honest. If you're getting crucified, you could use a hand job.
Well, I think we've been on for an hour. We should start to wrap this up because.
Almost went 3 minutes. What the fuck happened?
Oh, Jim blocked Mental Outlaw, and I ejected Jim.
I said a no.
I gave Jesus a hand job.
No, yeah, he was talking about the hand job that Mental Outlaw was talking about the hand job that he gave Jesus behind the altar, I think it was. And I think Jim got a woody. I think he must have got some kind of excitement out of that. And then when you get excitement, there's lust, right?
Does he have empirical proof that I didn't though? Can he prove I didn't?
What he probably did was he removed you from his. He blocked you so that he wouldn't have to contemplate the lustful desires that he was feeling, and he could repress them.
I feel like if you block me though, because you're going to think lustfully, I think that still counts as thinking lustfully.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So he
Yeah, it
has
does.
sinned. Germ.
He can
like
beg
if you-
for forgiveness, so.
Oh,
No.
he can then.
You got to jerk Jesus off. That's the only way.
Yeah. I did it, shit.
But the question is serious. How did you get Jesus to put his pants down?
He's got a robe. He just lifts the robe up.
Yeah, he's not wearing
Lance!
pants.
Sydney! When's the
Yeah.
last time you
Sorry,
heard Jesus?
I just never had the honor, you know.
No, Jesus goes commando. He doesn't even wear undies. He likes the wind on his taint. He just lifts the robe up.
Excuse me, but there's a 2-month-old baby in here. Please.
Oh, yeah.
He's not going to retain any of this.
He doesn't know neither. He won't remember the word
joking.
The baby that was born with knowledge. He was born with he knows these words already.
Do you see that baby
Yeah.
there? That baby has committed original sin. That baby is
Original sin.
sin.
That damn
I
baby
think
had-
anybody that actually
Look at that. Now look at that baby. And look how full of sin that baby is.
It's full of sin. You better start begging.
Yeah?
Did anyone know where he was from? He called it Christian hillbilly.
It's from Tennessee or Mississippi or somewhere like that.
Jeez. He's in my neighborhood, and this is a bad neighborhood.
Right. Oh, yeah, he's down there, but down south, yeah.
You know. Earlier he was talking about my other son, and he said, how can you see him and not think there's some creator or whatnot? And all I could think of myself was, how could I look at my son and how could I live with myself if I was indoctrinating him into
Right.
very
because, like,
instead of teaching him to be skeptical and open-minded.
That's the very right way. Like, I actually believe that, forcing religion upon children, sitting there telling them they're going to hell because they're bad, that's child abuse.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that is kind of fucked.
It is. I mean, you're telling a 5-year-old little kid that has barely any understanding of the world that he's a bad person and that he's going to hell because he committed some sin or he did something bad that he's not fully aware of. That's abusive. That is so fucked.
Yeah, especially when they become like, teenagers and they start getting horny and then it's like, oh, that feeling is bad.
You're so torn on the inside. I was a Christian when I was like in my teenage years, and then I ended up fully reading the Bible, and it turned me into an atheist.
Good man.
I feel like that's what happens a lot.
Reading the Bible as a way to get fewer people, to get more people to become atheists.
Yeah.
Hey, read this.
The church started hating me because I was asking them a bunch of questions that they couldn't answer.
Mostly my reaction to reading the Bible was like, I'm totally underwhelmed here. There's so many better ways, so many better books.
I'm done with this. Give me some Tom Clancy or fucking Stephen King.
Yeah, exactly.
Something suspenseful.
So I feel kind of bad that I chased off your fun. I did have another idea we can discuss if you want.
Yeah.
It was this random thought I had this morning.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of have a theory behind a lot of religions, and that is that most of them required some drugs to come up with.
Yeah.
Because, think about it. We're talking about a bunch of supernatural shit. The question, though, is which religion had the most drugs behind it?
Are you serious?
Oh!
Yeah, let's just...
Odin.
Anything involving Odin?
Anything involving Odin.
I kind of think it's Hinduism, though, because their gods are hella trippy.
No.
Right.
This was repeated and spiritual ingestion of psychedelic mushrooms to the point of almost killing people. People would ingest these, piss it out to get the toxins out, and they would drink that piss to trip.
But probably the religion that was most heavily influenced isn't around anymore because all of its adherents OD'd.
For Odin.
Well, no, not necessarily. If we're talking psychedelics, it's kind of hard to OD on most of them, at least.
Well, no, back then they take Amanita. No, Amanitas are poisonous. Amanita muscaria is poisonous. So
that shit will kill you.
That would filter it, and then everybody would pass a cup or a horn, whatever, with his piss in it, taking swigs.
That's disgusting.
One dude eats a bunch of mushrooms and the rest of them drink his piss?
Yes, they do. For Odin.
For Odin.
For Odin.
I would have to research that one a bit because I've never really heard of them doing that in the Nordic religion, but then again, I haven't researched a whole lot into it.
That would have been a kick-ass job to have, though.
If I remember correctly.
Right?
Yeah.
Because it's like back in the day, everybody has their job that they do for life. It's like one of them's a blacksmith, one of them's a shoemaker. I'm a piss dispenser.
I'm a piss
dispenser.
That's your job. You just sit around eating mushrooms all day and pissing in people's mouth. I want to do that.
I could do that.
Sign me up.
I do that shit for free.
All right.
George says
the
the
trip out and
Mormons,
piss in people's mouths.
they're high as fuck, but Mormons can't do anything. Like, they can't even do caffeine or smoke cigarettes. They got to get high on something else. Can Mormons get high on anything?
They get high on the spirit of God.
Yeah,
They
there
have
you
to
go.
do that. If you're a Mormon, is it against the rules to play that game that middle schoolers do where they, like, choke themselves and they get lightheaded for a second?
Actually, it's an interesting question whether it's like, you know, skydiving or bungee jumping are things that, like, you know, could turn you into an adrenaline junkie, whether that's frowned upon. I don't know if it is or not, but
I don't
I
think
should ask the
necessarily.
ex-Mormons in my group with what they think.
Like I've seen a lot of things on Mormonism, and I've actually come to know a lot of missionaries when they were like on their mission and stuff, because they loved stopping by my house and trying to debate the existence of God with me. They actually kind of had some fun with it, but it turns out a lot of them do a lot of fucked up shit on their missions.
Yeah.
Like, they totally break all the rules a lot of the time. I've seen many of them like crack open beers and start smoking weed. It tripped you out.
Well, of course, they're human.
Yeah, I mean, they're still human.
Yeah, they are. But
You can do whatever you want on
Humans
mission.
lie.
Supposedly.
That's all humans do is lie.
Gotta come back. I don't know. We went back and forth laughing.
yeah.
So you said it's the berserk. Oh, I know about the berserkers. Yeah, they fucking got high as fuck and went into battle. Here's what confuses me about the berserkers. So apparently the berserkers, if I remember my Nordic mythology and Nordic history correctly, they were actually really good warriors. Yes.
Yeah, they were.
Comparatively, sure.
Okay,
You get anybody trip and run at somebody with an axe, they're going to be a good warrior.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
No armor.
That's the thing, though, is that the berserkers would battle high as fuck, and they're good warriors, but yet ISIS and, you know, all these fucking terrorists, they do the same shit. Like, they get stoned out of their fucking mind before they go to fight, and they suck. They're garbage.
Yeah.
They can't
Oh,
shoot
they're
for
retarded.
shit.
And they have, like, guns and bombs.
I'm going to
You're
make
not
this point to you. I'm going to make this point to you. If we are of similar heights, and I am 100 meters away, high as hell, I'm not hitting you with any gun. If I'm 2 feet away with an axe, long as my body, and I swing it, it's going to hit you.
And I will eat you.
You can still shoot a gun when you're high. Being high does not keep you from having the ability to shoot.
No, but I said from 100
Keeps
meters
you from
away, I'm not
having the
going to
ability.
hit you.
Yeah, but if it's a stimulant, it's going to make you a lot less accurate.
Yeah, and dude,
Yeah.
I've seen videos
Hard
of
to
these
do with
guys try
recoil.
to execute people, and they miss point-blank shots. Like, they're garbage. They're fucking stormtroopers.
So
They
don't-
can't shoot for shit.
Snipers take
They're
a
probably 14.
off their muscle sometimes.
The what now?
It's probably not in their genes.
That's fucked up.
No, but honestly, like, even if it's not a stimulant, if it's any input into your body from 100 meters away, you aren't going to be able to calm body, heartbeat, breath control, trigger squeeze, aim point. You're not going to be able to do the fundamentals of riflemanship. You're not
They're
going
gonna
to.
spray.
I'm agreeing with Earl here.
Especially not with an AK. Especially not with an AK.
Yeah, those things kind of
Cheap as fuck.
go ever which way.
You know what? I bet you their sights are fucked up, too, now that I think about it. They probably don't know how to fix their sights.
What sights? Their guns are made from shovel parts.
Because they take guns from people. Like, they'll overrun a town, or they actually have a bunch of guns that the Russians left there still. So they have,
And the
like,
Americans.
guns from back when the
Yeah.
Russians were fucking with them. And
The
they
guns
take
they built in
guns
their
from
backyard.
people they overrun.
Why are they shit?
So I
I
got
mean, you got
tanks
these
and
really
shit.
kind of old, decrepit, falling apart guns. I don't think it's gonna really hit anything.
It's almost like a legit game of Rust where you just kill people and then take their guns and use them on other people.
Hi, Dustin.
So now are we talking about like ancient combat in martial arts and shit now? Can we talk about something I know?
Well, sure. We could talk about the Spartans. You know, their skill is based on boy fucking.
Partially. Their skill was not based on boy fucking.
So my skill's based on.
Damn.
They drew power from fucking little boys.
No, that was not drawing power. That was to get rid of the shit that they were concerned about. It's like, I'm just gonna, rather than meditate, do some yoga. I'm gonna fuck this kid.
I'm gonna fuck this kid till I jizz off him.
And sitting around naked, combing each other's hair in the rain.
Yeah. For real.
That does sound kind of odd, though.
If I'm a part of an elite warrior troop and I'm staring down a full fucking army of 10,000 plus, I'm gonna let a nigga do my hair.
Hold on, naked in the rain though?
Damn Skippy. That
shit's damn Skippy.
That's Greece. Fresh. That's right above the tropic. It's nice and warm. That little sticky.
Your shit's gonna take a minute though.
Motherfucker.
Your shit's gonna take a good couple minutes though, depending on what you want to do with it.
Bitch, I'll pull up my shield and we'll sit there and wait.
Be like, hey man, you got 5 hours. I want some corn rolls.
No, only takes 2.5. 2.5.
Oh, for you? I guess.
You got Maury Povich playing in the background or something?
Me? No.
You. I thought I heard you are not the father.
I guess I'm watching fucking.
That may just be my
So You
neighbor's
Want to Be a
argument.
Millionaire?
You're trying to learn some trivia. Watch Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. Which is bigger, elephant or the moon?
Moonafin.
Moonafin.
It depends. Maybe there's a race of, like, star-sized elephants out there somewhere.
No, if I picked elephant,
Wouldn't that
I'd be
be a
like,
kind?
objectively, bitch, I can't get any closer to the moon. That's as big as the moon is to me.
You're right.
Oh, you could be taller. You could be like 7'8".
Objectively, you sack of shit.
You'd be like, have you looked at the moon? It's
What if
only
it's
the
a
size
baby
of a
elephant?
quarter.
What if it's a baby moon? Do you mean our moon, the Earth's moon? Do you mean Galileo? Another moon? Titan? What's
Well,
up?
if it's a crescent moon. See, that's
Hey, a crescent moon would be a Muslim moon, right?
Whoa!
Yeah, probably.
Racist motherfucker.
It's like an Islamic moon. We have no right to look at the moon when it's in crescent. Only when it's full. Or what's the other one?
Okay.
No.
That's fine. Them niggas can't read any of our words that got a T in it.
Wait.
No.
What? Is that both
Arabs
waxing
can read
and
any of our words
waning?
that have a P in it.
Is it waxing and or just waning? Which one can we look at?
Mr. Miyagi says wax on.
It's wax on, wax off. So it's.
Oh, I looked like I heard Isaiah's brain with that one. He went, my God, no.
Can't believe David Bowie's dead.
There was an ISIS dude who chopped off his mother's head for something. What the fuck?
Yes, I heard about that. I read about that.
Geez, okay.
Okay, so this is what
Bowie to
happened.
ISIS beheading. Don't try to connect them.
No,
Don't
it
connect
wasn't
them.
a beheading. It wasn't a beheading. So what happened was, it was in, I think, Raqqa, which is the sort of capital of the Islamic State.
Yeah.
So there's this guy and his mother, right? And his mother kept on saying to him, "Dude, let's go. Let's get out of here. This is crap.
Fuck this.
Fuck this." So what he did, what the son did, is he went to the council and told the council what his mother said. And then what they do there, they have Islamic law or councils and judgments or whatever on the spot. So they go to her work, they drag her out of the street, they flop her down, and then they read blah, 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 and then they shoot her in the head. And she was
They shot her in the head.
Yeah.
So did the dude shoot her, or was it like some other guy?
Probably the guy who does the shooting. There's a guy who does it. There's a preacher, and then there's a shooter. That's
actually a very good. That brings up an interesting question.
What's that?
If you're a member of ISIS and you have to, like, your mom's getting executed, do you do it yourself to ensure that it's relatively painless, or do you let another dude do it?
Well, if you've got any balls, you do it yourself, right?
Yeah, but I think
Well,
it's
yeah.
Real fucking man.
Because I don't want one of
cheat
those.
hangman.
Yeah, I don't want one of those fuckboys that use a dull knife to do it. I mean, shit. I
No,
don't
that'd
want
be
her to
fucked.
suffer.
That'd be so fucked. Hey,
I'm
Mom,
gonna
I'm
go
sorry,
get one
but
of those swords. Or actually, I think probably a shot between the eyes would be more painless than getting your head chopped off.
Y'all mamas. Would y'all mamas just sit there and take that shit? My mama would be like, bomb me up.
hell yeah, my mom would fucking box these motherfuckers.
Well, my mom is waspy as fuck, so she'd probably die from the sun before anything happened.
But
She'd get die from sunstroke.
Yeah, probably. I mean, she's fucking hella waspy.
Oh.
they'd just be laughing and shit.
And your sister?
My sister's a nice lady.
Is your sister the same sort of waspiness as your mother?
Oh no, she's biracial like me.
Huh?
Biracial.
No, that works. I thought according to Jim that couldn't happen.
Biracial angel. Like A-Rod.
What?
The A-Rod is a biracial angel.
A biracial angel?
The
what now?
Is that a thing?
With nice tits.
Anything can be a thing,
Nice.
according to anyone.
According to Christian.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I also remember.
Let's
another,
re-examine that.
Random idea I had. Speaking of biracial angels, since everybody's made in God's image, what is God's race? Is he like brown because he's all races combined, or is he clear because he's without race?
He's
white like me.
He's white.
Looks like the
Like,
cosmos.
just like me. He looks very similar to me.
Very similar to you.
Yeah.
Does he have a bigger dick than you?
No.
Probably.
He actually has a. He doesn't have a dick. I think he has a.
Oversized clitoris.
No,
He's
he's
gotta
a banana.
have- he's gotta have
He's
something.
a banana.
It dangles out of his pants.
And it's one of those little small bananas too.
Oh, it's a plantain. One of those little short, fat bananas.
So hold on, the one that you jerked off, the one that you gave a hand job to, was that a banana?
Yeah.
No, Jesus.
That was
you gotta
his
remember,
son.
yeah, Jesus is in human flesh,
yeah.
and let me
Because
just
you
tell
could actually
something.
set us straight on
This
this.
banana.
That guy is hung. Let me just tell you. Jesus.
Oh shit.
Yeah, I
His
mean, like,
son.
Hung
you know,
like
you're
in a
gonna know
tree
when he
or-
comes back. You'll
Well,
know when he
you know
comes
what?
back.
I'm figuring,
to,
Kenny, if you're jerking off Jesus, then surely he must have told you things like, you know, that he wouldn't normally say, like if he had a family, his wife's name, his children, stuff like that.
No.
He's a bachelor. He plays.
Yeah, he told me to just keep my mouth shut and make dog noises. I didn't ask any questions.
Well,
I just did as he said.
well, what he says, that's very, very traditional of you.
Yeah, you know, whatever it takes. But yeah, that Jesus, that's how you're going to know that if you really want to know when Jesus is coming back, to all you Christians out there, just watch a bunch of porn. You'll see him starring a porn because he's got
Jesus is every dick in the world.
he's got the holy
He's the biggest
scepter.
dick in the world.
So I've got a question. Okay, if we could turn to something, a little more serious.
No. If Jesus is seriously inside of all of us, then isn't he just getting fucked in every porn?
Absolutely.
Yes. And he's fucking in every porn.
He's fucking.
Don't
Maybe
look
these
at him like
Christians
that.
have got something, huh?
Gross. Gross.
Okay, I want to perhaps turn the subject to something a little more serious, and I haven't heard anyone talk about this in our hangout yet, and that's the subject of the mass rapes and stuff that happened in Cologne on New Year's Eve. I don't know if you guys know about that. There were 1,000 migrants went on a rampage through the city and started attacking and raping and fingering girls, and it was just horrible.
Dude, that's fucked up. No, I didn't
Okay,
hear about
before we talk about this though, is that something that's planned? Like, do a bunch of guys just get together and be like, "Hey, let's go out raping tonight," or did a bunch of rapists just happen to meet each other?
Just like they do.
Probably sourced it, like on an image board.
Well, think about how the same thing happens in India almost annually. It doesn't take much for this secret group of people, not this secret group of people, these guys who know they all feel like this, to do this kind of shit, to spread the word about fucking witches are going to be drunk. Do it.
So do they like take the day off from work to get prepared for that, or do they just go whenever they can?
Sidney, wasn't it at like between 1 and 2 a.m.? It was like after midnight, after the parties.
It was
that's like super. That's like wicked coordinated.
Fireworks going off and all sorts of noise, so that they could. That was the distraction for them to go ahead and do it.
What goes on in Times Square is like what happens in almost all of the land of smaller countries on New Year's.
Exactly.
You know,
nobody gives a fuck.
Half of the population of this small nation is in this one territory, this state, this city. You know.
Right. In these few city blocks, you have the whole fucking population.
Yeah, but you've got 1,000 people who are fucking going into. It just blows my mind that.
When I first saw this
was
article,
allowed to happen. Sorry.
The title said 1,000 Muslims sexually assault women, and it was shared by some conservative Ballsack group or whatever. And then after a little bit more investigation, they find out that they're just a bunch of dudes from a bunch of different places, and it's like, goddamn, more fear mongering. I mean, I know this shit is evil and it happened, and shit, didn't this happen a few months back in Japan at like some pool?
No.
Something, it was overcrowded and they were splashing water and like touching women?
Well, let's have a look. That was probably India, but listen, what do you think of the BBC? What do you think of the BBC as a credible source for news?
Migrant origin minister, or of migrant origin. Okay,
right,
so
let's go down a little bit here and see. Can you see? Is it good enough? Do I need to make it bigger? I can do that.
It's good.
Yeah, it's good.
Migrant background, North African.
Shit.
I mean, it's just the thing that
500
touched
criminal
me.
complaints. Check this out. 500. 40% to sexual assault.
Oh yeah, and they were stealing shit too. Forgot about that.
Of course. Well, that's it's part of it. Look at this.
What I don't get though is like if you can actually organize 1,000 people to be coordinated like this, to do a mass like rape and fucking grabbing people and shit, all within the course of 1 hour, why not try to do something like a little bit more major? You know, like you can fucking, if you can get 1,000 people to all show up at the same time, you can overthrow your little fucking government or something.
Yeah, but
like do something besides just raping people.
Assault. That is the aim. That's the whole goal.
Yeah, I mean, you're assuming they want something. They just said, hey.
If you overthrow a government, you're gonna get some pussy, okay? You're a fucking badass if you can overthrow your government.
You're gonna get some pussy.
I'm just saying, I'm a brown man, white country, white bitches. There's 1,000 of me. Let's go. I mean,
someone sit on it.
Personally, I do not believe that the views expressed by Earl Evans do not reflect those of SecularTv.
Do not. Except mine.
I did say might.
Ride for my niggas. Ride for my niggas.
But seriously, like do something a little bit more impressive or something. Do a fucking giant flash mob or something. You'll get famous on YouTube and you'll get bitches. You don't have to.
I did a flash mob and I didn't get famous on fucking YouTube.
It's because there was 1,000 of you.
What?
I did a flash mob and I didn't get famous.
There wasn't 1,000 of you though. If all of those motherfuckers would have learned how to do Thriller, and all of them danced in the streets doing Thriller simultaneously, it would have gotten laid, there would have been some consent, and none of this shit would have happened. You fucked up. You motherfuckers fucked up. All you had to do was dance.
I hear flash mob, and I'm assuming you mean the group dancing thing, but I'm thinking a bunch of naked niggas.
Yeah, it was group dancing.
Naked, why not? I mean,
one of us was kind of naked. The entire time.
They can be kind of naked.
How many of you were there?
I know, I'm actually just about to watch the video and screen share it.
He said, I was all alone, but only one of us were kind of naked. What?
Yeah,
I was in a onesie.
And they probably know the song too, because like in a lot of those countries, they're like the culture is kind of like 20 years in the past or something. Like they still do disco and all that shit. So they fucking know Thriller. Like they know the words. They probably know how to do the dance. You could have done Thriller. That's all I'm saying. You could have done.
I know,
Thriller.
but don't forget that
You should have done Thriller, but you molested people.
If they show happiness, they get punished.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe. The fucking the Sharia guards, they know Thriller too. They can join.
Look at this nerd. Alright, my internet's bad.
Well, they got to keep it to themselves if they do it. Otherwise, it's
Horrible. Worst. It's a mosh pit. It's one of them post-hardcore fag mosh pits.
Germany doesn't want to look racist these days. So they won't do much except arrest a few of them.
Goddamn teenagers.
What?
Why is it that Germany tries so hard to not be racist, but America doesn't?
They got their shot. They got their shot.
Yeah. They did a lot of stuff already.
I mean, they did have Hitler, but we had 400 years of slavery.
No, they got their
You're
shot.
right.
They got their shot at racism, and they fucked it up in a decade, right?
Right.
We started,
Like, we can still get away with it.
You know, this lowbrow, slavery. Yeah, we're not racist. We just, use the blacks. But it's not
Yeah, it's
racist.
okay.
It's not racist.
It's cool. They got hip-hop now.
Yeah, we're not racist. Our founding fathers just raped black people.
Right, bullshit, and then we're not slaves no more. They're like, oh, we still don't like the blacks, but we're separate but equal. No, still not as racist as Germany. So we're going away.
We got all
It's like, hey,
money.
we want Trump to be elected president. That will be our equal of Germany.
Oh, God, please, God, no.
Well, I mean, that's what I'm saying.
No.
George was saying that, like, Germany doesn't want to look racist, so they're only going to arrest a few of these guys. But it's like, here in America, if some shit like that happened, Trump would be out there talking about the Muslims, they're all rapists.
Bro,
They want to
They're
rape
all right.
You're like,
it would be no
Come
problem.
over here.
No, you're riding the wrong bike on the wrong side of the road. You're just wrong twice. Fucking, if that shit had happened in America, this whole like, oh, we want guns to protect, you would see militias in every fucking state.
Malicious.
Right now.
Well, yeah, you would, true.
You would see groups of conservative white farmer fathers with their fucking guns.
Josh Fierstein will make a video.
Hey, they'd stop looking at black men like that, so it's cool. I mean, shit. Fuck it. Maybe I'll be able to join a militia.
No, you wouldn't.
Yeah, man, that is true. All the attention would be off of us. I could go into a banana republic, man.
I tell you to go make your own. They don't give a shit about your daughter. They just don't want you with their daughter.
Yeah. Oh, while they're out battling the Muslims, we could be sneaking in their fucking houses.
Fucking their daughters. Making their grandkids.
Yeah, man.
How's your wife?
Oh yeah, now he's
Make
scheming.
everyone's grandkids brown. No more racism.
I'm okay with gender roles. Housewife never sounded like more easy pussy, am I right? Come on, am I right?
Well, gentlemen,
Once in a Yeezy CD, where do white women at?
90 minutes are almost up, and you know how expensive studio time is.
Yes.
So,
You gotta pay an
to wrap
ass.
up, if there's anything, we'll go from my left to right. Darius, anything that you want to promote?
My SoundCloud is bad, but follow it. I'm gonna drop a link in the chat or whatever.
Okay. My Snapchat is bad, but follow it.
Okay.
It says
Earl,
SoundCloud.
you're up next.
Oh, man. What's up? I'm Earl. Check me out on twitch.tv/Vasago, RA. You can go see me. I Twitch stream. I play video games. I do stupid shit. If you
Nerd.
check out my YouTube, which is just me, CT Evans, you'll see highlight clips, reels, and bullshit that I do.
Yeah, you just Google Vasago, Vassago, and I'm sure that'll lead you right to Earl.
No, don't Google Vasago. The word ass is in Vasago. You'll get porn.
You'll get porn.
No,
So, yes.
Don't Google.
Google it,
Okay,
yes.
don't Google Vasago. Don't. Okay, do not Google Vasago.
Make sure Google Safe Search is on, and you'll be fine.
Okay, Isaiah, dude, what's up? What you got to tell us?
Well, I don't really got nothing to promote, but I really enjoyed my time on here on SecularTv.
Oh, you come along anytime, right?
All right, yeah, I'll definitely be on in future episodes.
Excellent. And we have Mental Outlaw hiding behind a logo today.
Oh, fuck you, Mo.
I just want to say that Visago does not give you porn. It just gives you shirtless anime man, which is not porn. They don't have their dicks out.
It's almost borderline.
He's working on that. It's a plug-in that he's working on.
Anywho, yeah, I'm the Mental Outlaw. I might be playing some Rust today and fucking Scrubs up. Or Terraria if this fucking Visago hoe can figure out how to host a server and let me play with them.
I got one. Did I not send it to you?
No. Being fucking C?
Oh, because this
Don't have your ducks in a row, bitch.
Bro, let me join game because it's an option in this embedded fucking game platform.
Don't have your fucking ducks in a row, man.
Bitch, you ain't got a duck.
I don't have a duck. That is correct.
Mine is in a nice little row.
I have a quail.
You guys done hugging each other?
Yeah.
30 seconds of freestyle.
We're gonna comb each other's hair. We're gonna comb each other's hair naked now.
All right, folks. You've been watching Reason Speak on SecularTv. Support,
right.
Join, follow, participate. We'll see you next week.
No.